Hello all, welcome back hopefully. This is the second part in an ongoing series about the living story for Guild Wars 2. So if you've not seen the first part, I would suggest that you give that a look first, as we'll just pick up the story from where we left off. My name's Thunder. I'm on the Aurora Glade server and a member of the Odyssey Guild. Okay, so last time we spoke, the Molten Alliance were causing a ruckus all over the Norn and Char homelands, both sides were trying to organise a resistance to stop this uprising. The Molten Alliance, made up of the Dredge and the Flame Legion, as we mentioned, are two groups that normally work together. So it was a bit of a mystery as to why they'd started up this alliance. Our work with retrieving the spies' dead drops had uncovered some information. We'd learnt that they were digging tunnels throughout the underground, moving south and west and east. That things weren't all happy and with both sides. There was a bit of infighting between the two groups. The Flame Legion were performing more balefire rituals than normal, presumably to maintain their good-natured dispositions. And come on, little fella. There was, but it seemed to be basically about technology sharing. The spies reported that there were these new disgusting creatures down there, new weapons, that seemed to be what was going on. Meanwhile, in Holbreak and the Black Citadel, where I am now, the refugee camps were filling up rapidly. Conditions were pretty grubby. Rats were infesting the area, and the refugees weren't in very good spirits. So when the consortium offered to give them a way out down in Lion's Arch, many of them took the opportunity and moved down there as quickly as they could. This was the refugee camp back in March and April, so this is where the Norn and the Char ended up. It was not much to look at to start with, just a couple of tents, but as more refugees arrived, the camp grew until it became quite a bustling little settlement. The washing lines hopefully helped with the rat situation that we saw at the last camps. The operation was headed up by a woman named Elpida Callis, administrator for the consortium. She was quite excited about the whole proposition, getting the refugees set up in South Sun. Their first venture down there didn't work out quite so well. What with the Karka tearing up their tourist resort, she pretty much blamed that on Canuck for riling up the local wildlife, and was quite confident that things would be different. Some of the refugees were quite excited about that, a new opportunity to try on a nice island. Some of the others weren't so sure and were a bit concerned about the contracts that the consortium were asking them to sign as part of the move down there. But that's business, I guess. So eventually we get word from Bram and Rox that they've discovered a Molten Alliance weapon testing facility, and we go along with them to basically try and rescue some prisoners and mess up the Molten Alliance plans. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get any video of this, but the ArenaNet devs did an awesome live stream on this, so I'll link that in the description below. But we found ourselves drilling our way in with that machine. Then we made our way along to the weapon testing facility. If you've not done this dungeon, excellent part. Fortunately, we'll all get to enjoy this again in the future when it comes back as a fractal. Now, these were the big bosses of the dungeon, and what our spies were telling us about the hideous monsters that they hadn't seen before. Basically these guys. The Alliance was creating monstrosities and trying to leverage the best of both technologies, or magic and technology, to make themselves stronger and better for their own needs. dungeon, quite cool. Very excited that it's going to be coming back as a fractal, so I think everybody should be as well. We made our way through after we took down the bosses. We rescued the prisoners, and with an exciting escape along these corridors, made our way to an elevator and got out as many prisoners as we could. What was cool about this dungeon was depending on where the entrance was found, there were either one in Wayfarer or one in Diessa, and the dialogue would actually change based on whether it was Bram's or Rox's sort of home game. So that was quite cool. So yeah, that was the dungeon defeated. The Molten Alliance. We took down the weapons testing facilities, as many as we could, and yeah, that pretty much set them back in their tracks. The Alliance broke up at that point, and yeah, winners all round. So what you'll find here is that what looks to be an unassuming place, was once the refugee camp, and we had our little victory party down here. Of course, the story wasn't quite done there. The refugees, many were still homeless, and but yeah, we still took a moment to stop by the Black Citadel and enjoy a moment of celebration with the Char here as well. Catching up with Brahm, we returned to Holbrook, where he reports that they've been victorious over the Molten Alliance. Eyre asks him what he's going to do next, and he says that he's going to return and rebuild Kragstead. But yeah, the relationship between those two is still not great, and yeah, they're gonna need to work on that. Yeah, so Kragstead, it's come a long way since when we first encountered it. Bram led the refugees that we'd liberated from the facility back here, and yeah, you can come up and check it out now in its restored glory. As I mentioned earlier, some of the refugees that we met during the early parts of the living story have actually made their way back to the Nolan hatchery and to Kragstead, so you can actually come up and catch up with them, and yeah, quite coolly they remember who you are and what you did for them. So that's a nice little touch. Good news for Brahm. His lady crush, Attilia, he found her in Holbrook, and yeah, they returned back to Kragstead together. Unfortunately for our friend, yeah, he's better at rescuing the ladies than he is at talking to them, so I'd suggest he works on that. So with the Norn side of the story wrapping up, we turned our attention to the Black Citadel and to catch up with Rox. She captured a couple of prisoners, and so we were on our way to interrogate them. The remaining question was really why. I mean, apart from the advantages that they got from learning each other's tricks, they didn't get on. Our spies reported that neither group was quite happy with the arrangement, and so it was a bit of a mystery as to what had brought them together. So we set off down to the stockades to question them. The veteran Flame Legion guy didn't have much to say. He basically said that they needed the magic. That he was basically just bragging that we're going to die in their flames and that they will be here long after the dragons have swallowed us and all that we know. So, yeah, cheery guy, won't be coming to any parties anytime soon. The Dredge guy, on the other hand, said that, yeah, the magic that the Flame Legion guys provided was able to power their weapons. But more interestingly, was this description that they were coerced into it, that they were convinced that this arrangement would be good. Now, someone from the city was behind it. We still haven't found out exactly who that was, or what could possibly have been in it for them. So, yeah, the destruction of some homesteads and getting these two groups together, the new technologies, perhaps that. But yeah, that's the outstanding mystery at the moment. So we're still looking for the culprit behind it. We don't think it's that scapegoat guy. Although that would be quite a twist. But Yeah, probably not. Okay, so that pretty much wraps things up for this video. Yeah, join us next time as we move down to South Sun to find out the fate of the refugees who have signed up with the consortium for a new start in the sun. Thanks for your time, and see you then.